In this video, I'm going to walk you through packaging your Python code into a library, which will allow the code to be installed via pip. And this is the final video in my series on Python for stock analysis. In the series, we explored using an API to get and curate data and do some representative transformations, visualizations, and data screening. You can find the links for the other videos in this series in the description, as well as a link to the GitHub repository. In this final video, we're going to see how we can make the code we wrote in those previous segments more convenient to use and reuse in specific Python projects. And I'm going to walk you through how to do this right after a word from Lumiwealth. Interested in learning how to create trading algorithms with Python? Let Lumiwealth help with their algorithmic trading course. In this course, you're going to learn how to create bots that automatically trade for you, implement and use technical and financial metrics, and use machine learning to create unique trading algorithms. You can learn at your own pace, or you can join the live classes for a collaborative experience. Learn more about Lumiwealth by following the link below and get 15% off any of their trading courses. Okay, the first thing to point out is that there are many ways to package code for installation both locally and across platforms. The process, like Python itself, is evolving over time, and I'm going to set this up as if we were going to publish our code to PyPI, the Python package index, but I don't really consider the code ready to go on PyPI, and so we're gonna actually set it up and install it locally once we see what the process looks like. But maybe eventually you will modify the code and make something that you want to share with more than just your work group. Okay, so the process for packaging code really depends on how involved the project is. Ours is pretty simple, right? I just have essentially these two files, these two modules that I'm going to package into a library. All right, some of these projects are very involved, though, and they have lots of layers and folders and so forth inside. But it doesn't really change that much. It may change the configuration file somewhat, and a few other things, but other than that, the process is pretty extensible. So in general, what I'm going to do is make a parent folder to store our source code and some other files in, and then we're going to set up some configuration files. All right, so then the first thing I'm going to do is right-click and make that new folder to store everything in. And you can call it whatever you want the project name to be. All right, it doesn't really much matter, but somehow you want to identify it. Okay, so now I have a new folder. Okay, within that folder, I'm going to create a few other folders. So one of them is for the source code. All right, and then another is going to be a tests folder. All right, now I didn't write any tests for this library, all right, but yep, it's probably a good idea, especially as the code becomes more complex, that you would think about writing tests. Okay, so then I'm going to open the source folder and I'm going to put another folder in there, and this is going to be the actual package name when it gets installed by pip. So I'm going to repeat the name I have above, so I'll just call it analyze again. And then in this folder, I'm going to copy the two files we made in the previous 13 segments of this series. Okay, with that done, since I have more than one Python file here that I want Python, when I import this into other applications to go and be able to access, I'm going to add a special file here that allows that. So it's going to be a new file, and it's the _init.py file. Okay, I'm not actually going to put any code in there, but just its presence allows Python to go in and look at these modules. Next, you're going to want to make a license file, and you don't want to skip this part, because if you share your code and you run into some litigious third party, this will save you some liability. Now, I made it ahead of time, right? So I just sort of right-click, new file, license, and I copied and pasted the an MIT standard license in here. All right, so there's a few sources out there that you can use, but for sure, if you're sharing your code, you should include something like this. Okay, next I'm going to add a README file, and all these other files are going to go up at the sort of parent folder level, right? So we're done with these for now, all right, and then I'm just going to add a few other things up at this parent analyze folder. Okay, so it's a new file here, and I'm going to add a README file, and this will serve as a home page on GitHub, right? You can put tutorials and documentation in here, and also if you eventually put it out on PyPI, it can serve as the home page there as well. Okay, and so, you know, maybe we can just put a little something in here, a header. Okay, I'll just leave it at that, so save it up. All right, and then the only thing that's remaining are the configuration files that basically tells Python how to interact with this thing. All right, so I'm going to right-click, new file, and I'm going to add a setup config. All right, and I'm going to add basically a manifest, and I'm going to use a toml file to do this. All right, you can also use YAML. Pip will look for toml and YAML files whenever you run an install instruction. Okay, so our PyProject toml file, pretty straightforward, pretty simple here because our code is pretty simple. So I'm just going to add a build system, and I'm just going to tell it what it uses. All right, and then build backend. Okay, so in setup config, I am again going to just add sort of a minimal manifest here of what you need to do to install this software. It is more involved than the toml file, right? But it looks pretty similar, right? I'm going to start with some metadata. And when I say it looks pretty similar, I mean syntactically it looks fairly similar. All right, so now here I'm going to name my project. All right, and this does not use quotation marks around the parameters. Okay, so this is the main difference. All right, I'm going to give it a version. All right, and I'll just start at 0.1 here, or the first version. All right, so if I made changes, I would come in the next time I installed this, right? Or I'd keep a history of my source code, right? And I can modify the versions as I go along. All right, and then here I can just give it some kind of description, and then this will display when I call the help file once I import this. All right, so it's just going to be a library. All right, functions for working with stock data. Okay, next I'm going to add some classifiers. And it's a programming language classifier. All right, it's Python, and then it's 3, Python version 3. All right, I'm going to add a license here. Okay, so then just specify what license I'm using, and then an operating system. And, you know, it should be operating system independent. Okay, but if it only works with certain operating systems, then we should specify that here. All right. And then let me just add the indents. Okay. All right. And then after we hit the metadata, we're going to add some options. Okay. And then we need to tell pip where the package directory is. Okay. And then we have to tell it that as it's installing my package, if it's reliant on any other packages, that it should go ahead and make sure those are installed. All right, and then if you have requirements for, say, if you want a specific version of pandas or a specific version of NumPy, you would specify that here. I don't usually do that because, okay, it makes it harder to use, for especially if I'm sharing code and people haven't updated their pandas. So unless there's a really good reason to limit the version, I usually leave it off. Our code uses F strings, so we need Python 3.6 at a minimum. So. All right, so greater than or equal to 3.6. That's when F strings came in. And then I'm going to tell it a little bit more about how to find other packages. Okay. All right, so with that done, we can save this file up. And we should be ready to go ahead and install this with pip. So let me close this. Oh, the setup is in the wrong place. Let me move that. It looks like this toml file is in the wrong place. Let me make sure it's in the right one. Okay, so in the command line, I did go ahead and navigate out to that parent folder where the code is, and then it just should be a pip install and then a dot to indicate that we're installing this in place. Let's try that. Okay, yeah, you might get this deprecation warning because they want us to do it a slightly different way in the future, and so you need to upgrade pip, and then the only difference would be you would use this switch to install in place. Okay, so we can see that, yep, it went pretty fast, and it says it was successfully installed. All right, so I am going to try it out. Okay, so I cleared the screen. Let's see what happens if we launch Python here and try to import analyze. Looks like it worked. And then if I run help on analyze, I can see some metadata about that, right? So the name, right? There's the sub or the modules inside there, and then here's where it lives. So when you run pip install, right, it installs it into site packages. So that's why we can use it from pretty much any Python environment, that's based on Python 3.10 in this case. So hopefully that helps you get started creating your own Python packages.